character development. I think he's a gamer. Probably works an average job, might even work at like a Best Buy or doing something like that, but and not making that much money. But his big thing is doing this hacking stuff on the down low. And the reason that he keeps this low level job and the reason that he keeps a really low profile is because he's a hacker. He's like a high profile hacker. That's how he's able to help Gideon. They both are. They're members of like, I don't want to say anonymous but right. He's one of those. He's a member of a elite hacker group. That's how Gideon is able to get all of this, and that's how Alex is able to do it. But he's approached by Nick O'Neill, who through the government has observed his hacking deal and traced it back to him, and then said, "We'll let you go if you give up Gideon and you give up all the forwards. Give up Gideon, Delia, and all the other forwards." So then that puts Alex not exactly on the run, but makes him seriously sit down and think about his relationship to Gideon. And of course, in the end, he's going to do the right thing, but let's develop that. Because we talked about earlier that Gideon actually gets captured and tortured. That doesn't happen to Alex. Because Alex has always been about the money, about this world. He can't evolve. He won't evolve. And he has no fucks to give about any of that shit. He's about money, girls, everything in this life. So when he gets approached, he's like, what do I have to gain? So talk about his relationship to Gideon.
Well, I mean, they're buds. They're buds. They're buddies. Mm-hmm. They game together.
They hack together.
They hack together. And they cheer. Like every time they get something, that.
And they hang out.
And they hang out with each other. Yeah. What else?
Well, when he's approached by Nick O'Neill, where is the balance for that?
Yeah, we got to figure that out. I know that's what we're trying to do right now, but
Because what would you do? It's almost like that show, What Would You Do?
Yeah, but we can't let him get killed, so...
No, he's not going to get killed, and they don't even capture him, torture him. They don't do anything like that to him, because they know that what he wants is money. He wants acknowledgement. He wants success. And so they're offering him that to turn in Gideon, Josie, Delia, and all the other forwards.
Yeah, we have to think about that for a minute.
Yeah, okay. I mean...
Here you go. Say it.
Okay, no, you say it.
No.
Patrick is sitting with his friends. Delia has created the perfect nachos. They're watching some kind of sports game. She serves beer several times. Then she quietly leaves the area after she served them. They ask for beer and they ask for refills several times. And it's almost like she's a servant. She serves it to them. She says nothing. She looks, and she's in a really, really cute outfit. And one of his friends says, "How do you do it? She's not bothering you. We're watching the game. We've got food." And then Patrick just kind of sits back and says, "Gentlemen, I have it down to a science."
Okay. So we just came up with a good ending for season two. Before we said that the end of season two is when Delia and Gideon transform and they actually make it into the dream space of the possible future. And so that's good. I mean, and that's the end of season two. And then that's when Patrick gets hunted down. He's standing there. He saw them transform, and those two make it into the to the beautiful dream space. But after that happens, Patrick looks around and notices he's being hunted and starts to run. And one of the hunters shoot him down, and he gets killed. Then all of a sudden, he wakes up in the dream space, and he's like, "What?"
No, remember he walks off into the sunset with an emanation of Delia.
Okay.
Okay, no,
Well,
well, no, no, go on with what you're saying. You can make it yours.
no, no, because I mean, well, I thought we talked about this.
Okay, no, just go on, just go on, because you're getting excited.
Okay. But then when Patrick wakes up after he dies in the current time, he wakes up in dream space, but he's not transformed. He is still in human form. And and he wasn't given the gift, but he was given a chance to live in dream space to be with Delia because Delia begged his father for
Thank his father,
Patrick,
yeah.
you know. And so that's the end. It's like when Patrick wakes up, Delia leans over and says, "Welcome to the future." Boom. That's the end of season two, right? So in
Right.
season three, in the beginning, Patrick is explaining that that she begged her father to bring you along because she loves you, because
And
she loves him so
he
much,
did protect her. He
and
just
he
can't
did
give her
protect
the
her,
gift. He could never take the mark.
right?
He could never. Just doesn't have the DNA.
Yeah, he just doesn't have the DNA for the mark. So the mark is never on him. So he's asking all these questions like, well, how's that possible? And she explains it. So now we know that Gideon was given the gift. Like he was literally given the gift and the mark and everything at that point, like immediately. But Patrick was never given the mark. But Father could not see Delia be sad, and so that's why he was given that gift to be resurrected and pushed into the future. Now, season
Wait,
three.
hold on. And Delia's father actually questions why Delia wants to even bring Patrick.
Oh yeah, even Delia's father questions. So maybe we in the beginning of season three we go back a little bit, like when she makes it into the future. We could see Delia talking to her father, and father's like, "Well, I don't see why you." It probably sound like weird. I don't see why you want Patrick here. He's not even in the DNA. And he's like, "But I really love him.
I love him.
I love him." Well, you left him. I said, "I know, but I
That's
never stopped loving him." And then at that point,
no, and I left him
and I
for
left him
you
for you, right? For you and for the possible
and for
future
forwards.
and for
Yes.
forwards. So then Delia, his father said, "Well, he got killed as soon as you transferred over." He was like, "What?" And then she starts crying and crying. And then when the father sees when she's just devastated over his death, um, these beings found a way to bring him back, resurrect him, and bring him into the future. So
Right.
this is what's
Wait.
explained.
There's a scene where her father actually tries to comfort her
Right, tries to comfort
and
her.
then she's like, "Get away from me."
Right, and then yeah, Delia says, "Get away from me." Okay, so the alien tries to comfort her, and Delia's like, after a while, she's like, "Get away from me," and she just runs off and goes to her room. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there are houses in the future, and and then Delia's father is like, this
Bring him
can't.
back.
Yeah,
He
then
talks to his other alien
right, other
people.
alien people, scientists and doctors, and I mean just physicists and everything, and
They
it.
don't have those there. They are the aliens. They don't even need that.
Right.
He just goes to
Goes
the
to other
council.
aliens, to the council. There you go. And they say, "All right, is this what you really want? Whatever your name is, we
No,
haven't.
no, just bring him back. And all he says is bring him back.
Just bring him back." And so then all of a sudden, in season, this is happening in season three. We show how Patrick is resurrected and brought into the future, and then now this is when the story begins for season three. At the end of season two, though, there's a new recruit that was discussed in the previous audio recording, that was brought in season three. But we're going to see a little bit of that at the end of season two, where
That's Lamar Brown.
Lamar Brown. Okay, we got to write that down. Lamar Brown, who is what is he?
He is part of that new. The new president
Oh,
brings in that new squad.
okay. So there's a new squad that the president. What's the president's name?
Truant.
Truant. That will
He just says,
pretty much.
yeah, he's like the menace didn't do it fast enough. I'm
Right.
gonna bring,
And he's pissed
and
off
then that
that.
and no, and then that's why the doctor is being forced to create that create the I don't know
The
virus or
vaccine,
the
or
vaccine
right, the vaccine. It's a vaccine because it is a virus.
right.
So basically, the mark is a virus. Okay, so um, the President Truant realizes that the menace is gone, and he is pissed, because the menace transferred over and did not continue
And went
to
with his
do the
daughter
work,
and yeah.
and with his daughter and all that. So imagine that the menace, who is no longer the menace, is actually in the possible future. So then
So wait,
he get
the menace from season two actually is fighting against this new person.
right,
He's
is
yeah.
fighting against the new person. So the new recruit, of course, because the menace left, left the CIA and also the Team 47, which we haven't discussed yet on the audio. Um, the new recruit goes and fights off the menace. Like, so there's scenes where you see the new recruit Lamar fighting with the menace during different scenes. So, okay, in season three, um Lamar is asked to be a guinea pig for the new vaccine, and they warn him and say, "We don't know what will happen." You know.
No, that's not the way it happens.
Oh.
They do it like they do it in the army. They just vaccine.
Okay. In the army, you're not given a choice. Of what medications you can take. You're basically just given it.
Basically, you stand in
Right.
a line
You
and they
better
just
stand in line and they just inject you.
yeah.
Well, they injected him, only him, with the vaccine. You can see where they have all these like flu shots. It's a flu shot, right? Well, instead of giving Lamar a flu shot, they gave him the vaccine because they
No,
feel.
they're giving everybody the
No,
vaccine.
I think Lamar only,
No, no,
because
no, 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 no,
Lamar is
no,
the one.
no, no. That's why the entire squad starts to self implode with the
But
race.
Lamar survives.
Yes, he
Okay,
survives.
they give the entire squad the vaccine, but the squad does not know. Okay, and the only one that survives the injections is Lamar. The rest
Because
of the
he was
squad
hiding the mark.
implodes.
He had the
Oh,
mark, but he hid it,
Lamar actually had the mark,
and
and
he
he's
would
been
hide it
experiencing
with
dream
like
space,
makeup.
and would hide it with makeup and take whatever medication he can to keep the fever down. So he was
Oh
basically
yes, that's so good.
uh, basically hiding his deal, because he wants to be on the squad. He wants to be the hardcore hua,
Well,
soldier.
no, because his wife and his baby both come up with the mark, and he's trying to protect them.
Right. The baby and the wife has the mark as well, and he's trying to protect them from going into dream space, which, because he's scared of it. He's scared of it. When he takes the vaccine or gets the vaccine, forced upon him, they all the rest of the soldiers, they pretty much implode. What happens is their blood boils, the DNA resequencing
Because
fucks
they
with
don't
them
have the DNA
because
to
they don't have the
survive
DNA, but Lamar
to survive
does.
the fever. He
When the
can't
government
survive the fever.
realizes that he is one of the forwards, they go to him and said, "We need you to go. Whenever you go to dream space, we're going to self-induce your sleep, and you're going to go in
Oh
there
yeah, yeah.
and start recruiting or start getting names, and you need to come back."
No, no, they don't even tell him. They don't tell him. They start injecting him. and self-indigenously.
Back there to collect names, just like the other one did. The menace did. And then when he comes back, he has a list of names that he goes out and sends other crews.
How about this? They actually, this time, they don't do the minutes where they actually give him the orders. They wait till he falls asleep. They induce him so that he starts collecting names. He doesn't even know why he has the names.
Mm-hmm.
But he brings names back.
All right, so he brings names back.
It's
and
like he's a sleeper.
Okay, he's a sleeper. Okay. Now, but because Lamar has the vaccine, okay, remember we said a long time ago that energy, exchange of energy in the new world, everybody exchanges energy. And energy is a part of us anyway, already. But we really don't have any idea to control our energy. That's what we are today. Energy is very strong, and energy is within each and every one of us. And when we are not in our human self, energy passes on. Like when we die, energy moves on, and you can't destroy energy, and we are built full of energy. So that's why, of course, you see ghosts and all that. I mean, that's little things like that, if you believe in that. But in the movie, in the show, the energy is everybody shares the same energy of sharing and being together and being kind, and I mean the whole 9 yards. So when Lamar goes in with the vaccine and screws it screws up the energy. The Greys and the gray aliens, as well as the Aryan race. We're talking about the Aryan alien race, okay? When we ever hear us say Aryan, we're talking about the alien race. When they come back, or what they do is they found out how to intercept the radio frequency that's programming the people who are still in the current time, downloading the data, and shifts the dimensions. So now, the dimension of the perfect future and dimension of the future that we're on a path to becoming, it takes people out of dream space and puts them in the future that is really messed up, leaving dream space totally empty of people except for, guess who? Patrick. Patrick is not one of the gifted forwards, so it didn't affect him at all. But it did affect all the other forwards and pushed them into the fucked up future. Anybody who's still in the current time are dreaming about the fucked up future. Anybody who's already transformed are in the fucked up future permanently. So what happens in season 3, and this has been discussed already, where Delia and Gideon comes back to the current time to try to, fight this. Um, the aliens found a way to go ahead, just like how they resurrected Patrick. They resurrect the bodies that were, and because they haven't been dead too long. So it's like, okay, you haven't been dead too long, so we can resurrect the human bodies and put you back in them and go back and find a way. That's probably going to be the gross part because their bodies are been dead for what a few weeks now, for a couple of weeks, and then their body regenerates. So it resurrects, and and their skin color comes back, and all that, and they take themselves out of the morgue and go back into the streets. They haven't been cremated yet, so that's good. So then they're basically human again. Um, that's gonna be the gross part. Then they come back, and that's when the whole thing that was discussed earlier today in the early recordings.
Let's pause for a moment and let's talk about it.
That's when season 3 begins.
Pause for a moment.
It's recorded.
Delia and Gideon have gone and evolved. Patrick has evolved, but in a different way. Delia and Gideon are enjoying the evolution, and she's getting to know her father. She's getting a relationship with the aliens. This this enables her to get more information, but the dream space has been messed up. And her father asked her to return, and she said, why would I return to that? Why would I even go back? Why? I mean, the earth is messed up. I'm not going back. I'm enjoying the dream space. I'm enjoying this. And then her father says, let me show you why. And then he shows her messed up dream space. And then she and Gideon are talking. And she says, and she's actually like putting on her gear, putting on all of the everything. She's like, really gearing up. And he's like, what are you doing? And she says, I'm going back. Cutscene.
Real quick.
All right.
Here. And explain the aliens too.
All right. The aliens are nothing like we've ever seen. They're not humanoid. They are and truly, if you ever saw it in real life, you would be it would be frightening beyond anybody's imagination. When I say they're not humanoid, I mean they don't have arms, legs, mouth. They don't have anything that you would recognize as humanoid life. They actually look like huge spaghetti monsters with purple emanating from the bottom. They don't need a mouth because they communicate through the mind and through the energy. They're able to send and download this information, and they don't need to do it through where these aliens are at is somewhere so far beyond. They don't need to download information to a computer. They don't need to, in fact, they don't have computers. They simply think, and it is. And that's where we're evolving to as well. We think, and so it is. And we can think whatever we want to think, and then it is. And that's what the aliens are trying to teach us. But they are black. It almost looks like titanium. They look almost like they're made of some kind of metal, but a purple light emanates from the bottom of them. And that is exact, and that is that is what they look like. They almost look like squid. I don't know, something, but they have several. You can't call them arms. You can't call them legs. You can't call them anything because they don't need arms, legs, or any of that. It's just the weirdest thing. They look like huge, giant, flying spaghetti monsters. That's what they look like. And believe me, if you ever saw it, it would scare the bejesus out of you. But that is where we come from. That is where we emanate from. So Delia is trying to develop that relationship with her father. And it's really hard to live in a humanoid body for as long as she did. And then suddenly, you know, woohoo, I'm going to wake up as a human woman or as a baby, you know, in 1968 or whatever. Woohoo, all of a sudden, and then all of a sudden, okay, I'm going to emanate, and then I'm going to go back to the black spaghetti flying monsters and then try to get with that. So Delia is really trying to develop that relationship with her father, but it is hard because Delia is angry that she was left on Earth so long. To the aliens, it seems like the blink of an eye. It seems like she was down there only 10 minutes. But for Delia, it was decades. She's angry
angry that she was left down there. She was angry that they were not and we need to figure out why she wasn't able to come up sooner. We need to talk about why she wasn't able, because she's angry that she was left down there so long.
Oh, so she was already born before she was born.
Right.
Hmm.
She was sent down there. She was sent down there just to check on.
Just to see what it's like to be human.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then she forgot what it was like to be an alien, and that's when she
Exact. Well, she wasn't supposed to be down there that long.
Mm-hmm.
Something happened where she was not able to be picked up or able to be brought back.
Mm-hmm.
So then, by the time they were able to do it, it's like, okay, it's like you say, "Hey, I'm gonna pick you up in 10 minutes,"
Oh,
but
wait a minute.
and then it takes 45, and you're like,
Maybe she was Oya.
yeah, and she was supposed to be picked up, and she was not picked up on time, and Delia is pissed about that. She's pissed at having to be here and go through this experience, especially after she gets to know her father, because she's like, I could have been this the whole time. I could have evolved already. I could have already been out of here, but instead I had to work a job I hated. I had to go through these relationships. I had to do all of this, and I could have been having this existence. She's pissed, which is why she needs to work on the relationship with her father, which is why we need to deal with when he asks her to go back. Why she's like, I don't want to go. I've already done this. I didn't like it the first time, and you asking me to do it a second time? But the fact is, she has developed love for the forwards because she was one of them,
Mm-hmm.
and which is why she goes back. But she really needs to work. We really need to kind of develop that relationship with her father, and the fact that it's not a great relationship. He wants to make it right. He wants her to understand that it wasn't his fault, that blah blah blah. And then at one point she says, what gives you the right to play with people's lives? You should have just left me be. What gives you the right to download information and suddenly want to bring people back just because you want them back? What about what they want? What about what I wanted? So they have that conversation.
Mm.
Because the aliens are just like, hey, okay, this isn't working out right, so we're gonna go grab all these folks back, or we're gonna try to, and then they want her to grab back more folks just because they want them back, and then so she's trying to let them understand, you know, evolution is a great and it's a beautiful thing, but you cannot play with people's lives like this. Some people are gonna evolve and some of them are not, but they need to make the choice. And that's what the aliens are not understanding, because they're not giving. It's like at one point she says, "We are not chess pieces." And then the father says, "Chess?" "Yes." And then she says, "Yes. It's a game where you move pieces around the board at your will.
Mm.
We are not chess pieces. This is not chess. This is our real life."
And if you die in the current world, you're dead for good.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, so that's the conversation. That's what I see episode 1 as. That's why she's fighting to against it. It's not, no, don't drop her into the dream space. It's, we have to get into the, because we have to understand, why are the aliens just coming back right now? Where they been? What you been doing? Where you been at? But time to them is different than time to us. So 10 minutes to them is 40 years for Delia.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not cool with her. She's not cool
So
with it.
really and truly, he didn't miss her.
No, he absolutely did miss her. But he thought oh, this is just going to be 10 minutes and then we're going to pick her back up. First of all, he
Because
didn't
at
pick.
some point he becomes human and experience it.
What?
The father.
The alien? No, he never. But their understanding of time is so different. They don't understand humanity. That's why you get the mark and you get the fever, because their understanding of humanity is so
So
different.
maybe that explains why you experience dream space 10 times faster than real time.
Because yeah, then that's why he is so desperate to get her back.
Right.
That's why the aliens are desperate to get the forwards back, because they didn't realize how different humanoid physiology is from them. They didn't realize. They thought, oh, okay, we can do this and then pick them back up, and they didn't realize they couldn't do this.
Right.
That it doesn't happen in the blink of an eye for us,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why he is so. He actually is ashamed, and he actually is very, very sorry. But Delia is very, very angry because she's like, you know what? Here in dream space with you the whole time. Why did I need to come down here? Why didn't you come down here? Why did you send me?
Mm-hmm.
So those are the questions that Delia has, and that's why she's not real, she's not enthused about going back to dream space. But then she sees the other forwards, and she's like, you know what? And then that's when Harold comes and talks to her and says, you know what? I understand how you feel. I know what you're feeling. But you have a father here. Think about those that don't in the dream space. And then that's when she says, I'm going back.
And Harold was always going to ring her in.
Yep, exactly. Because Harold is her human father figure who she can relate to more than an alien. She can't really even relate to it. She can't even really get into her light body. She, oh, is that the pump?
No, someone's out there.
Okay. She can't even relate into it. But she Harold is always like, just like Gideon is always that brother.
Mm-hmm.
Harold is always that father.
Right, that father. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So when she's trying to develop the relationship with her alien father, but she really can't do it because she's just too pissed. So that's where that's at, and that's how we're gonna segue into what you said, which I think actually is very, very good. That's the action part of it, but this is the heart, the humanity of it, because people need to understand why Delia just wouldn't. She's not a hard ass, and she just wouldn't go. She needs a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So let's give her a reason.
Sounds good.
All right. Actually, we find out that Harold, the alien father, has actually been projecting energy into Harold, and that the alien father has been actually living through a human body, through Harold, coming to dream space, and also watching over Delia this entire time. At one point, they will start arguing. She will start arguing with her alien father and say, you've never been here. And then he'll say, I've always been here. And then that's when we'll understand that he actually did take human form himself after he could not get Delia back in time. He actually came down and took a human form himself to try and bring Delia back. And when neither of them could get back,
Right,
then they got stuck. And then he became Harold. And Delia says, you've never been here. And then he says, I've always been here.